sure whether he's actually shooting and gets it horribly wrong, but it goes into a dangerous area. Sakamoto can't get to the end of it, but another dangerous moment for the home team.
I think Frank Lampard will be so much happier with this little spell that they're having at the moment. Again, I think we want them to carry on that bit of momentum they've created now and finish the half really strong, because I do feel they let that first 25, 30 minutes pass them by a little bit, but they're certainly in the game now.
Still that one goal, the difference. Scored by Eliza Mayenda, presented to him by Milan Van Ewijk. He was quickly surrounded by his teammates, and at the end of the game the coaching staff too, just to console him. He's got a chance tonight to atone for that error. Thomas, Sirkin, Bellingham, now Dan Neil. As he runs to his left, Dan Neil, it's a slip in there. Kitchen picks himself up, Neil continues his run. There's Dan Neil again. They're sliding through to Dennis Sirkin. Now, 6 Sunderland players, 7 of them are out of the picture. And Coventry looking for something on the counter. Radoni. There's Mason Clark. Hadji Wright's up there with him. Sunderland managed to float bodies back. Once again, it was Dan Ballard who got to it.
Brilliant sprint to help his defence out. I think it was Enzo Lefebvre.
Here is Lefebvre. Mayenda. Eliza Mayenda. Body of bodies in the way. Grimes picks himself up.
Oh, it's like a basketball game, isn't it? And I think that's going to help Coventry more than Sunderland, possibly.
Yeah, it's probably the first time we've seen over both games, really, where Sunderland have allowed the game to be stretched, and what they can't do is allow them from Mason Clark that space in that channel. Should have done more with that opportunity. It was a really good situation for Coventry.
Well, Peterborough stand to make a bit of money if Coventry are promoted, with that from Mason Clark, of course. Likewise, Harrison Borough, Sheffield United. Sakamoto's cross. Mason Clark and Allison trying to get to it. Was beaten to it by Radoni, who sends it over the top.
Hadji Wright is saying that Patterson has cleaned Jack Radoni out. He wants a penalty.
Don't know what's going on.
But this is brilliant again. How dangerous when he cuts in on that left. Those Coventry players know he's going to cut in and deliver a cross. Different Mason Clark at the far post. Little knockdown. Radoni, it's a bouncing ball. He just can't keep the ball down and under the crossbar.
Tough chance that, you know, as you say, it's really difficult for him to get over the top of the ball, and got Patterson carrying out as well, so I think that's probably in his eye line a little bit.
How are you anyway? Nah, but how are you? Yeah? We'd love to catch up properly. You still free next week?
This is how much new Savour Bacon Roll you get for $2.19. This is how much holiday you get for $2.19. Trigger, please. Actually get your money's worth in the morning. Breakfast, now on the McDonald's Savour menu.
Since the beginning of time, the unique taste of an Oreo cookie has come from real cocoa. It takes cocoa to make a cookie like this, that tastes and looks good like this. The new Oreo Original, with even more cocoa, so you can eat it like this. The tastiest Oreo ever made.
Mr. Hollywood! Hello! Have you opened your personalized home insurance deals from Auto Sergey? Already done for you.
You mean it's okay not doing it all yourself?
He really gets it, Sergey.
I don't think he's talking about Auto Sergey deals.
Wait, don't go in.
Just make it simple with personalized deals delivered from Compares the Market.
Football, best served with the crack. Jameson sponsors the EFL on Sky Sports. Welcome back. No goals tonight, but Sunderland still leading 2-1 on aggregate. However, George Boateng, Coventry have had some decent chances in that first half.
Yeah, they've done well, especially on the right-hand side with Sakamoto always coming inside, dropping his shoulder, playing against Dennis Serkin. I think he's having a really good game. This was Eppen coming inside with a really decent shot, sorry. Keeper Patterson really with a good save, simple save, routine save. But I like the way Coventry has managed to get into the final third and trying to create something to goal-scoring opportunities. This was a brilliant free kick. Again, in the second phase, Sakamoto dropping shoulder. Have a look at the back post. This was a really good chance, and I think it's Jacudoni just missed it. This is another really good cross from Haji Wright, and this was the chance. His first touch let him down, but I thought if his first touch was good, you would fancy Jacudoni on his left foot to have a shot on target.
I was going to say, there's enough there to keep you positive, enough there potentially to keep Sunderland on the toes with what you've seen in that first half, Michael?
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it. Sunderland knew exactly what they were going to get from Coventry. There's no the reason why they scored so many goals from crosses, from the set plays, the aerial bombardment. And I said to you before the game, Prutz, it was about the mentality of having a clean sheet tonight. And that's what, Anthony Patterson with a save there. Sunderland have been defended in numbers. And what they're looking for, that counter-attack and transition moment to release Maeda and Isidore. We've seen that a couple of occasions. So that's what they're going to be waiting for.
It's the pace, isn't it, Kev, of Eliza Maeda on the break that could really trouble Coventry.
Yeah, and for me, it's really only been Maeda that's looked a real threat. I'd like, certainly in the second half, I want to see more from Roberts, Enzo Lefay and Isidore. It was a carbon copy, really, of Friday night. Isidore had probably only touched the ball 6-7 times in the first half, and it's a similar scenario this evening. So I want to see more out of those boys. Coventry have controlled most of the first half. They should have scored a goal. Sunderland can't keep conceding the possession they're doing in the areas, in the wide areas. They've got to stop those crosses, especially the ball from Sakamoto over the top of Hume. Patrick Roberts needs to give them some cover, because if they continue to bombard the box, they will score at some point.
Coventry City dominated possession once again, but still nothing to show for it tonight. The Tifo said, till the end, when will the end be for these two sides? Potentially just 45 minutes left of one of these teams' seasons. It's finally balanced once again at the break with that slender lead, and food for thought from Frank Lampard and Coventry City. Cheers to the fans' spirit. Jameson sponsors the EFL on Sky Sports.
just got better. Fast just got better. New Persil Wonder Wash. Blast away invisible dirt and sweat. Our first ever detergent designed for shorter cycle. Better on odor, better on fragrance. New Persil Wonder Wash. Fast just got better.
LV have always made it simple for me to get great value car insurance, so I can get their cover from just £315. Get your quote today at lv.com.
SodaStream is here and we're pushing good. Fizz water like you should. Add any flavors you like. Enjoy all day and night. Always fresh taste. That's the way it should be. With SodaStream, it's fun to mix it fresh. You will see. Now push.
One SodaStream, limitless possibilities.
Behold, my name is Maximus Entertainers, and I come to you from the mountain of entertainment. The only place to stream epic blockbuster, Gladiator 2, and the new Guy Ritchie series, Mobland. Legendary blockbusters and series await. Are you not entertained? Then get Paramount Plus and stream a mountain of entertainment.
You never judge us. You just wait. Chin high. Breakfast written in your eyes. You get us up and out. Run. Walk. Explore. Your affection's contagious. All hail the magic moon maneuver. You're more than man's best friend. You're Britain's workmate. Soulmate. Plate. And we wouldn't change a thing. So for all that you bring, here's a wholesome British-made bowlful. Butcher's. Nourishing food for dogs.
When you run a business, great communication is vital.
I just transferred. I think I just cut them off.
Welcome to the all-new Hi-Hi 4, the business phone that's refreshingly easy to use. Now with new features like 2-touch call transfer and the ability to listen to call recordings directly from your phone. As always, it's all backed up by our UK-based support. Find out more at hihi.co.uk. Hi.
Hi.
Have you heard the news? Next season, 80% of all televised Premier League matches are on Sky Sports.
Welcome to a new era.
From 128 this season to at least 215 live games. 215? How's that sound, Gary?
That is unbelievable.
Which means more of this.
Oh, yes!
More of that. More for you. Welcome to the show.
Say his name 3 times. He will appear.
Beetlejuice is loose. Beetlejuice available Friday on Sky Cinema.
Cheers to goals and glory. Jameson sponsors the EFL on Sky Sports. Live golf coming your way in the next couple of days. Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele, of course, the reigning champion, going at it in round 1. The PGA Championship, 1 p.m. Sky Sports Golf. Quite the battle between those three, quite the battle between these two so far. It's 15 minutes, a big 15 minutes worth of managerial chat for these two bosses ahead of, quite simply, a massive 45 minutes left of the season, potentially, for one of these sides. Can Coventry City get back into this? The second half comes after the break.
Football. It has its ups and downs. There's the weather. Should have brought a coat, mate.
Burger, please.
The food,
1750.
or whatever that is. The big signing, shocking. He's not much better either. And oh, here we go. The good news is, our ACCA gives you insurance, free bets, and big odds boosts. So whatever lets you down, it won't be your ACCA. It's a gaffer of an ACCA from Ledbrooks.
Second half in the semi-final, second leg about to get underway. How much more do they need from Jack Redoni, George?
Yeah, he's one of the key players. Got goals in him, can head. You know, he's always at the end of crosses. Good left foot. Can he be the man, be a match winner tonight for Coventry City?
For Sunderland, Kev, it's a huge 45 minutes. Are they going to see possession once again? Are we going to see them get deeper and deeper? Because Dan Ballard simply loves defending, doesn't it?
I think they've shown, Sunderland, defensively have looked fairly solid. They just need to stop those crosses from the wide areas. But like I say, from a saying, I don't mind a 0-0. He'll say we'll have nothing to talk about. That's Sunderland's job at home, because they get through if they keep that clean sheet that I was on about.
Okie dokie, from the four of us down here pitch side, back to our three amigos on the gantry. Joby Mackingham, Dom Goodman and Gary Weaver.
Yes, thank you, David. That's unlike George Boateng having an argument, isn't it? Well, this rivalry is intense, it is bitter, it catches people out. A bitter feud ignited back in the late 70s when Sunderland were relegated from the top division. Coventry stayed up. Coventry's game against Bristol City was delayed by 15 minutes. Sunderland lost at Everton. The final score broadcast across the PA system at Highfield Road. So both Coventry
shoving after that.
No, there's nothing to be getting too upset about. But really, obviously, the clock's ticking. He's losing. His team are losing. He wants to get up. He wants to get on with it. He's just let his frustrations get the better of him there.
So a yellow card for Bellingham, a yellow card for Ben Wilson, and the Coventry City goal. A reminder, he's a Sunderland fan. He's got families and friends in the home end here who he's hoping to disappoint and break their hearts. Was that a high boot there from Jack Radoni? That's the Sunderland claims.
It's getting prickly in here. And the players aren't really helping. Their reaction to every tackle, every challenge, a little bit over the top. Sunderland bench has had a go. They're up. The Coventry bench are up. It's spiky.
It's the playoffs.
Wouldn't expect anything less, would we, with 22 minutes to go in a real tightly contested affair. In there, Ballard involved, as he has been. Radoni, there was no intent there, did catch him, but Ballard putting his head where it hurts, as he has done so many times over these two legs so far.
All is calm again for now. Craig Hugh has made the run in behind here. Able though to catch up with that. Some Coventry change is on the way shortly. Josh Eccles.
Well, you mentioned Joby. It's just the game's just gone a little bit scrappy, and it certainly suits Sunderland more. And I do think that this substitution
Sirkin who gets underneath it.
We saw Luke O'Nien a few moments ago just gathering a group of players is such an important part of the game now, just to make sure that they do regroup, they don't panic, still very much in the game. Obviously from their perspective they've lost a big opportunity, but they've still very much got a big opportunity themselves of going through, so they've just got to make sure they remain calm, regroup. Again, from the manager's point of
cross in. De Silva waiting at the far post. Seen off for now, but Coventry City get the corner as we head towards the final 90 seconds of normal time. A place in the Championship playoff final.
Oh my days.
Yeah, more defending now for Sunderland to do. See the talking, Ballard orchestrating in the middle of that box, making sure people are aware of the runners.
Austrian is still buffering
Grimes
now.
with the signal, sends that cross in. Ballard gets to it again. How many Dan Ballards are out there? In it goes again from Grimes.
Whoa.
You know who gets to it once more.
Wow.
And Sunderland looking for something on the counter attack. Stopped by Coventry. It's Jacob
Coventry.
Silva.